Welcome YouTube Live and welcome Live.me. I use live. Okay, so everybody that's asking these questions, Live.me is like the audience. Okay, and YouTube and all the other sites is like when you're making the video, it's like by directed and stuff like that. And then there's the interference with the Live.me, that's the audience. You can, you know what I mean, intertwine with them and stuff like that. So trying to get my best to get this done correctly as much as possible. I am not professional. So please don't say like, hey, that's like not professional, this is not blah blah. I'm not doing this as a professional person. I don't have a crew. I don't have people to help me set up and stuff like that. I just do this on the fly. Those of you that said that I rehearsed this and this was made before and this and blah blah blah, those rehearsals was actually, they was telling me what the hell was going to go on, but these are not rehearsed. This is actually really from the top of my head, and I just bring it out, and just, it's because I'm always been the type that always told the truth as it is, and I always been the type that I'll tell you as I see it. If you don't like it, I don't care, because that's the only way I can get the information to you for you to understand where I coming from, my point of view. And all I ask of you is to hold down your respects if you cannot hold down your compassion. Just have the respect that you're listening, you're hearing what I'm saying, and then just move on. And if it doesn't bother your brain, who cares? But if it bothers your brain, give it some chance of compassion. Okay? That's what I'm asking. Give it some chance of compassion if it does bother your brain, irk your brain a little of what I talk about. Okay? The reason why it's doing that is because your angel on your shoulder is reminding you. It's not me, it's actually your own shoulder, your own conscience reminding you that your instincts understand what I'm saying. Okay, so I wanted to get that out to a lot of the people out there because uh I never created a live me fam or family or kingdom or uh um like even on Palace where you have all we could do all group chats and stuff like that with just your kingdom or with your fam and this and that blah blah. But I have not done that is because um I don't want them to say that, oh, you have to be a part of something, or you have to be initiated into this blah blah blah. No, I am the type that, in Hogwarts, that there's that one leader that took them all and this and that blah blah. Yeah. So thoughts on Avengers Endgames. For my opinion on Avengers Endgames is that um they missed a I think they're missing a lot of parts. Is because I swear there was a section that you actually supposed to see, even when like a twist in the timelines. Like, you guys only saw the timelines that you guys know of in the Marvel. But there were timelines that was opened that um you know what I mean, like um let's say in one timeline Superman really did die and never came back. So when that timeline opened, probably Batman was the leader. um it's because not gonna have the same people alive in one timeline, and some people may die. Is because in one timeline you might be important, but in another timeline you might mean nothing, because in that timeline somebody else's ability or somebody else's powers was meant for it. That's the reason why I'm kind of interested how they're going to do Vision, is because Vision is more like how my mind works, because I'm confused of what years and months it all went down. So if you watch Vision with the Scarlet, right? Scarlet is supposed to be me. She doesn't remember the correct timeline. Is because she has no time. That's one thing that Charlotte has a problem. That's the reason why she can never master her powers into a god level. Is because her confusion of holding on to time. If Scarlet would just let go of the measurements of time and just made time whatever she believes, that was the time when she didn't, because she not running on nobody else's time but herself. When she did them is when she did them. That is her time. So Scarlet is actually a mutant, okay? That's also not from this world, but from this world. Not from this timeline, but from this timeline. Do you understand? She has a purpose, but she has no purpose at the same time. So Scarlet will be, so that's the reason why I was trying to explain that Scarlet is a very good example of what I was trying to explain to you guys about the different things. I am trapped on your chair. Help me. I sunk myself. You're such a sweetheart. It's different. It really is. I try to. But the difference between everything in life is it's complicating. The human should just accept that life is complicating, but that is normal. Complicating is normal. Without complication, you will not have excitement. Without complication, then when you make them party, it's way too smooth. And then nobody's like, oh my God, I had to get this. And oh, I was so stressed. No more stories to talk about everything we have done. Right? Hold on. I got to go turn on the light so you guys, I was thinking that the lighting that I already had would be fine, but obviously, yeah. So I wanted to tell everybody, because I wanted to represent this, because this was so good. Like, I'm not supposed to show brands or anything like that, but they were white. It was Mr. and Mrs. And it was so good. It was so good. I was like, this is really good. And I had like this shed load of like lean away inside, and I was just like I think I had more fun with my drink than but anyways, so let's go to the topic that I actually labeled this whole thing about. Okay, so I wanted to show everybody this awesome thing that I was totally talking about, and it's so funny. Oh, what happened?
Research shows people remember ads with nostalgia. So here's an ad to help you remember that Liberty Mutual.
Electoral College.
We will win this, and as far as I'm concerned, we already have won.
We're gonna win. We're gonna keep winning. It's too much winning. We can't take it.
President Donald Just a Minute Trump is in more trouble than the guy who kidnapped Liam Neeson's daughter. Because all day, Joe Biden has been slowly chipping away at Trump's lead in Georgia, while also cleaning up as mail-in ballots are counted in Pennsylvania. Basically, by the time you're watching this, it could all be over. So tonight, you're either popping champagne or popping all your stress pimples. But even though things look bad for him, Donald Trump is not a quitter if you don't count his casinos and marriages. And he still has several strategies to win this thing. So let's go through those strategies today. Strategy number one is Trump's first response to anything, whether it's Trying to get out of paying a bill or silencing a porn star? Lawsuits.
With his path to re-election appearing to be narrowing, President Trump's relying on relief from the courts that may never come, filing suits in Michigan and Pennsylvania to stop vote counting until the Trump campaign can access the counting locations. The Trump campaign saying it would request a recount in Wisconsin, where Joe Biden is the apparent winner.
The Trump campaign filing a lawsuit in Georgia, alleging one of its poll observers saw late absentee ballots illegally added to a stack of on-time absentee ballots in a heavily Democratic county that includes Savannah.
Quite possibly, we'll do a national
Stupid
lawsuit
allegations.
and really expose the corruption of the Democrat Party.
Ooh, a national lawsuit? So if you're watching this, consider yourself served. And what a difference between 2016 and 2020.
You got
When Hillary
TikTok.
lost, he disappeared into the
TikTok.
woods.
You
When
got
Trump
TikTok.
starts losing.
What is
He's
this?
dragging voters one by one onto the
Turn the
witness stand.
camera.
Although knowing Trump, he's probably just hustling for a big settlement. I'm suing because I should be president. That's why I'm here. But for 500 grand, we can forget this whole thing ever happened. 300,000, 250, my final offer, 50,000. I'll pay you, but only $20. Part of the deal. But what case exactly are they bringing to the courts?
We do
Well,
the street
Rudy
race.
Giuliani, the president's personal lawyer and man who drank from the wrong Holy Grail, explained his objections to counting votes.
Not a single Republican has been able to look at any one of these mail ballots. They could be from Mars, as far as we're concerned, or they could be from the Democratic National Committee. Joe Biden could have voted 50 times, as far as we know, or 5,000 times. You have a reputation for dead people voting, and we're going to go look at just how many dead people voted here. Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Do you think we're fools? Calm down, Count Wacula. First of all,
Calm
depends on who
down,
you mean
Count
by we.
Wacula.
Because if you're talking about you and Trump, then yes, we do think you're
Count
fools. But if
Wacula.
you're talking about the entire Trump administration, then also yes. Because, I mean, come on, dude. Joe Biden isn't voting 5,000 times. Have you seen how long the lines have been? Not even Joe Biden wants Joe Biden to be president bad enough to wait that long. And as for looking into dead people,
And 5,000
it's gonna
times
be
you wait
hilarious
line,
when
you
Rudy
must be
Giuliani
crazy.
is questioning the dead on how they voted. Did the Democrats get you to vote for them? No, man, I'm a dead guy, just like you. What? I'm not dead. I'm alive. Oh, and you should get that whole thing checked out. That's cool. Joe Biden was declared the winner of the 2020 presidential election. But even though many people are cheering, for some Americans, it's still going to take a little longer for this result to sink in.
That of President Trump remaining defiant and not conceding this race. Across the country, pro-Trump protesters echoing the president's baseless claims that the election was stolen.
He would have to do a lot to convince Republicans that this is anything except a left-wing power grab financed by people like George Soros.
We had computer glitches that changed Republican votes to
I get
Democrat votes. You
computer
look in
glitches.
Pennsylvania, dead people
Prove it.
voted in Pennsylvania.
I can prove
There's a
I
software
get
called
computer
Cameron
glitches. You
Scorecard used to
prove
flip
it.
votes from Trump to Biden. Is that indeed true?
We've had hundreds of thousands of ballots mysteriously appear for solely for Mr.
Liars.
Biden. This is coup 5.0, Lou.
Ooh,
You a coup.
5.0? Is that the coup with the front-facing camera? Oh, that's dope. I want to get one of those.
What
Are
happened
you
to the
guys
cool
kidding us?
007?
This was so batshit. I caught coronavirus just listening to it. You're telling me that the crafty Democrats have used their satanic powers to steal the election, but for some reason they didn't steal the Senate?
Satanic
Because what?
powers.
They were using the
Oh,
free
yeah.
version of satanic
We will
powers
go
and taking the
back to
Senate as a
Black
premium
Ages.
feature? Like, when
We're
you
going
think
back
about
to the Black
America's
Ages,
whole
man. It's
system
called the Dark
is
Ages.
rigged
Oh, the Dark
to help
Ages.
Donald Trump.
Whatever
The
you
man
humans like
lost by
call
4
them, you guys
million
always
popular
change
votes
the
and
names.
still had a chance to win the electoral
Labels,
college. How does that make
images,
sense?
or
One person Donald Trump
whatever.
should be mad at is himself, because he started on third base and still somehow lost the game. And look, I think everyone agrees that if there really is voter fraud, we wouldn't want that to decide the election. But guys, Donald Trump always says that there's voter fraud. In 2016, he said it about every single primary that he lost, right? And then he even said it was the reason that he lost the popular vote. It's never been true. And this is not just me saying it. The courts have also been like, yeah, Donald, we're not buying it, buddy.
The president's personal attorneys have vowed to continue filing lawsuits, even though they don't appear to have any clear path to 270
That is
electoral
abusing
votes,
the filing
and
and
they've already faced a
claiming.
string of court lawsuits.
There has
so
to have
far,
some kind of
as
fucking
judges
law
keep
that you
saying
cannot
these
just keep
allegations are
fucking
just not supported by evidence.
filing just
To
on
get to the court of law,
allegations. You gotta have a
provide evidence.
fucking
In the
law
case that they
or
brought,
rule that
in Michigan,
if you have the same
was
allegations
summarily
against the
rejected by the
same
judge,
person
that you don't have any evidence.
and
It was
have
based
no
on,
evidence,
a posted note. I'm not kidding. On a posted note with an
you
unsigned
have to
note
have some
saying,
fucking
they're
law
telling me
that
to
you
change
cannot
the
do that.
addresses.
Yeah.
I swear
That's
to
the
God.
difference
Like, what
between
the
Fox
fuck?
News and courts. In courts, they
Is it-
ask follow-up questions.
Because
You can go on Fox News
all
day
those
screaming,
people
"Joe
should
Biden stole
sue
the
Donald
election."
Trump for
But in court,
fucking
they ask,
harassing them for the
how?
same intuition, the same
I got
fucking
a
time.
post-it
How many
note.
motherfucking times did they do
I
that
remember
against the
Trump had
people
more
of the
than
United
one
States?
lawyer
And how many
who
times
knows
did they
the
do
law.
it? And how many
Because
times
it
he
feels
did
like
it against
all
the
the people
fucking
he knows,
democracy
He
and
only
the
knows them because they
Constitution?
specialize in the criminal code.
That's
and
way
they
past
do
double
charges.
jeopardy.
I
God
need someone who knows
damn.
fraud.
That
Jimmy,
is
you
double,
did time for that
triple,
thing, right?
triple,
You're on the case.
motherfucking
Just another
jeopardy.
thing.
What the
So with the
fuck?
court skeptical, the campaign had to take their arguments directly to the people. And honestly, it might have gone better if they'd chosen a slightly different venue.
The Trump campaign held a press conference to challenge the election results at Four
By the
Seasons
dildos!
Total Landscaping in Northeast Philadelphia. Some
Whack
people
it with the
suspect the
dildo, boing,
campaign
boing,
intended
boing.
to reserve the Four Seasons Hotel, but accidentally booked this landscaping company, located between a crematorium and a sex toy store. Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, was speaking when he was told the election had been called for Biden.
Who was it called by? Oh my goodness, all the networks. Wow. All the networks.
No, guys, come on. How is this real? Like, how is this real? How are you going to hold a press conference at a landscaping warehouse between a crematorium and a sex toy store? I mean, as a general rule, if you're ever out declaring war, you don't want to do it 20 feet from a dildo.
Because I'm going to beat you up with your
Because if you ask
dildo.
people what's
Hit him
halfway
with the
between
dildo,
a pawn
boy.
shop and a crematorium.
Boing, 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 boing.
And by the way, I have a feeling that Rudy Giuliani uses that sarcastic
boing.
response a lot. I'm sorry, who wants me to put my clothes back on? Everyone. Oh, wow. Everyone. Every single person in this
We will
Denny
pull out
wants
the
me to put
dead,
my clothes
boy.
back on. So even though most of the world has accepted that Joe Biden will be the next president, Donald Trump is clearly planning to drag out this fight for weeks. And his people are behind him all the way. Well, almost all the way.
Despite no proof to support allegations of widespread fraud or illegal voting in the United States, some of his top Republican allies backing the president's refusal to concede.
At this point, we do not know who has prevailed in the election. The media is desperately trying to get everyone to coronate Joe Biden as the next president. But that's not how it works.
Trump has not lost. Do not concede, Mr. President. Fight
Deliver
hard.
the delusionals that
is
pizza.
100% within his
Pizza.
right to look into
Pizza, pick 'em
allegations of
Pick
irregularities.
them up, these
And
delusionals.
where it
Pick
is
up the
legal.
delusionals. Pizza,
Privately, people
Pascal
believe that it is
pizza.
time for the president to concede the
I
election.
am
It is true that Jared
donating.
Kushner has
I'm
approached the
donating
president
all
of
these
conceding the election,
delusional
and then my colleague
motherfuckers.
reported that the first lady has also talked to the president about accepting the fact that he has lost this election
vegan food
to Joe
buffet.
Biden. Basically, they're all
All for
just
the
waiting on the president to come to
delusionals.
terms with what's happening.
Yes.
Pizza
Melania
order.
and Jared
Pizza
are
order.
effectively trying to convince Donald Trump
Me
to
got
concede.
them. They well
Although Melania
trained.
is
They
definitely
well
working her own hustle at the
trained.
same time.
They
Donald, you
was
have
very
to
good. They
concede.
came from Princeton,
Pennsylvania is Biden
Harvard.
won, and they also
I get
said
good
our mind
breed.
is
I
Miss
get
Valley.
the
I know
good
it's the decision
breed.
that people have spoken. And that's for Jared schooling Trump. Imagine being told to grow up by a guy who's never gone through puberty. That's gotta hurt. It's also not great for Jared either, because this is just yet another impossible job Trump has given him to do. All right, Jared, it's your job to convince me to concede the election. Okay, sir, it's time to concede. Eat shit, you creepy mannequin. Catch me if you can. Ah! So, maybe Trump will decide to
Whatever,
concede
you
eventually.
creepy mannequin.
Or, hey,
Try to catch
maybe
me
he won't.
again.
It actually doesn't really matter either way because it's
Mannequin
not
run.
really his decision.
Mannequin
to
run.
make.
Jared's
Joe
coming.
Biden is
Jared's
going to become president on January 20th.
Run
Trump's
for
opinion
Jared.
about that counts for exactly one vote. Same as
Who is
any other
Jared?
vote in America. I know
Donald
it's hard to
Trump's
believe,
little
but after all
pig.
this time, It looks like
His little
reality
dog, he's
has
pug.
finally caught
The
up.
little pug dog. Trump doesn't have a pug dog.
They must be so
You
uncomfortable
sure?
working
You
in the
didn't
White
have
House
to
right
name
now
him
because
Jared.
everyone around
They're
Trump
running
knows
around
he
two
lost.
legs.
But they've got to all go along with the lie.
Sorry, Jared.
That's got to be exhausting, especially when you're already running a fever from COVID. But look, I'm sorry, Donald. This just isn't going to work. You can't pretend that everything's fine when the whole entire world saw you get fired. My nigga, if people in Bosnia know you don't have a job, you do
don't
not
have a job.
Honestly, people, I don't think Donald Trump has ever looked more pathetic than this. And yes, I'm including the time he played tennis in his sport diapers. Because the only way that he can overturn the election is to prove that there has been nationwide voter fraud. And the truth is, that's just not panning out.
Election officials in states across the country report to the New York Times no evidence of widespread voter fraud. The Times reached out to top election officials in every state to ask whether they suspected or had evidence of illegal voting. None reported any major voting issues.
As for Pennsylvania, the president claims, and I quote, Pennsylvania prevented us from watching much of the ballot count. The Trump campaign went to federal court about this. Judge Paul Diamond, a George W. Bush appointee, heard the arguments. And by the end of the hearing, under questioning from the judge, the Trump campaign lawyer admitted, contrary to his initial complaint, that, yeah, there were, in fact, observers present. Similarly, a state judge in Michigan dismissed a lawsuit over access to ballot counting. She cited a lack of admissible evidence on whether the campaign had even sued the right party. In Georgia, the campaign sued over late mail-in ballots allegedly being counted. The judge dismissed it again for lack of evidence.
Yep. Trump's
You
claims
cannot
are being
have a
thrown out
case
in the
with no
courts
evidence.
all over
You
the
have
country.
to dismiss it,
Michigan
or you're
courts, Georgia
you're
courts,
you're
federal
abusing
courts,
your
even federal
power.
courts are like, man, get your bullshit out of this Panda Express, Donald.
You
He's getting thrown out of
both
court so
under the
fast.
law.
The
You have
bailiffs
to
don't even
follow
say
the
all
word for
rise. They're just
word,
like, nah, y'all
language
can
and
keep sitting,
paragraph
man. We
of
won't
the
be getting
law.
on. Yeah, y'all just stay
You
with
better
me.
motherfucking
Here's the
turn
thing,
that
guys.
shit out.
Everyone knows Trump lost.
Oh,
Even
look what
Donald
the
Trump
fuck
knows
I
that he
going
lost. You know how you know
through.
this?
Look what I'm going
Do you
through.
realize you haven't seen his face?
I was
since
sentenced,
they called the race?
convicted,
He hasn't shown it.
punished.
You think that if Donald Trump
with
really
no
thought he
fucking
won, he'd be
evidence for them
hiding?
to uphold their shit. And I'm
You know
like,
this guy.
hello,
That
I got
would
the
be a victory
evidence on the
rally
why
every single
proving
day.
I'm
He'd be
fucking
flying
innocent.
around the
I have
country
not
on
done
top of
that.
Air
I
Force
do
One,
not do
doing
that.
that
I'm
weird
a
jerk
good
off
mother.
dance
I'm
that
a
he does.
good parent. I'm a good human being. Why am I fucking doing this?
And just so we're on the same
Thought
page,
you was innocent
the
and then
forces
proven
haven't
guilty.
found widespread
I'm over here
voter
proving
fraud.
myself
Election
innocent.
officials haven't found it. And even the courts haven't found it. So now, Republicans are putting out a mass call for voter fraud investigation volunteers.
Republicans continue to search for widespread issues. In Texas, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is offering up to $1 million
Why are they
to
searching?
incentivize, encourage, and reward people
Because if they
for
had one
reports
claim
of voter
already,
fraud,
they
even
wouldn't
though
search.
there has been
They would
no
have the
evidence of
evidence
any
ready,
there.
like I
Right
do.
now, we're in an evidence gathering phase. That's why we have a hotline.
They
And that
wouldn't
we're
be
asking
searching.
people
They would
to
have all
let
their
us
shit
know if
together
they have
and
any
then
of these
make the fucking
irregularities that
claim.
they saw. We'll pursue
This
them.
is
and
what
then we
makes
will
the courts
pursue
to
legal
me
action.
irritating.
The Trump campaign has
People
set
make
up this
the
voter
fucking
fraud
claim
hotline
without
basically
getting
where
the
they
fucking
could field
evidence.
calls about these allegations of voter fraud. I'm told actually a lot
Because
of those calls
what is
have
the
been
definition
prank
of
calls
allegation?
that have been coming in.
Somebody's word
Oh,
or
man, these poor
words
Trump lawyers. They're
that
gonna be
is
getting into
not
court like, Your Honor,
supported by
I have
the
a sworn
truth.
affidavit proving
Or not
voter fraud
proving
from
to have
Mr.
any support
Seymour
or
Butts
evidence
and
that
his
supports
good
the
friend
truth.
Ben Dover, and they're both very concerned. Wait a minute.
That's the
What
reason
do they
why I
expect?
get irritated. Like, why
What
the
do they
fuck you
expect? You're
guys
gonna ask
act
people to
like the
call in?
word
What do you expect? The
allegation
only
get
calls
power?
anyone makes
The
anymore
word
are
allegation has no
prank
power. The
Any
word
other reason, you
evidence
just
does. And
Even
I'm the
your
one over
granny
here
calls
saying,
me
I
out.
get
She's like,
evidence, I get
"Hello,
evidence.
sweetie.
But you
Is
over
your
there,
refrigerator
Judge
running?"
Nakata, telling
Well, then
me,
maybe
oh,
you
but
should
they get
catch it, you
allegations, they get
loser.
allegations. But I over here going, hello, allegations is more honorable
Donald
in the
Trump is
court
saying that he won the
than
His
evidence,
supporters
physical
are saying
evidence.
that he won the
That is
election.
provision.
But meanwhile, Trump's
That was
lawyers
backed up by one
slowly
trial and
moonwalking
tribulations that
away.
I was under investigation and I had detectives and stuff watching
President
me
Trump
for a
has
whole
a new
fucking
setback
year.
in his legal challenges to the election. The Trump campaign is abandoning a major part of his legal challenge to votes in Pennsylvania. The campaign is dropping its claim that officials unlawfully blocked observers from watching ballot counting in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh.
Today, the president's lawyers dropped their lawsuit in Arizona, admitting it would not change enough votes to matter.
In a Pennsylvania lawsuit, a judge asked Trump's attorney,
are you claiming that there is any fraud in connection with these disputed ballots?
Look at all those people.
Admitted,
Trump is saying that we all not
A top
citizens.
lawyer at Jones Day, which has
We
represented
all
Mr. Trump's
citizens.
campaigns for
What he's
more
saying
than
is
4 years,
majority
told
of it was
colleagues during the video
women
conference call that
and
Jones Day
and
would
college
not get
students.
involved in
He's
additional
saying that
litigation
young children,
in this election.
he's being discrimination.
Donald,
He's
losing
not
court cases
respecting
all
people's
over
age.
the place.
He's not
It's almost
respecting
like a
their
miracle.
gender
No, he took
because
one election loss
he wants to get rid
and
of
turned it into
all
1,000
female
more
votes.
losses. Yeah, exactly.
If you look at this, look at who he's look why you look at the people that he wants to throw out their votes. He wants to throw out every female vote. He wants to throw out every college student's vote.
You'll
That
find
if
a
you're
lawyer who'll be like,
18
"We gotta
to
sue that girl,
25
man.
years
You got a
old,
case."
he wants to throw your vote out because he thinks you're too young. But that's discrimination to your
And the
age.
best part is how these lawsuits
That's against the law.
slowly
You cannot
trickling down
discriminate
to
someone
nothing from
because
where
of
they
their
started.
age.
Because when it kicked off,
You cannot
Trump's lawyers were
discriminate
like, "Your
someone
Honor,
because
this
of their
election is
sex,
rigged."
because she's a
And then it was like,
female.
okay, the election wasn't rigged, but they didn't let us observe it. Okay, they let us observe the election, but not as closely as we wanted.
And then they're
Okay,
trying
none
to
of that is true, but can we all
dismiss the
agree that the word
military?
election is weird. Yeah, it's weird. right?
Because they
Election.
like say that that's
Sounds
the
weird, right?
magical
We can agree on that.
ballots
So
that
look,
came from
Trump can say what he
overseas
And his supporters can also
because
say
they
what
get
they
proof
want, but
that
his
it
lawyers
was mailed
clearly
from
know the truth.
another. And it's
The
like,
truth
bro,
is
if you
that
look
Trump
at the
lost the
base,
election,
where's the
and
base
not because of any
located?
voter fraud.
Where's
People
the
voted.
where was the sheep
And on
located
January
when
20th,
they
he's
mail
gonna
them
have
out?
to move out of the White House. The good news for Trump is there's a guy with a U-Haul who's
And then they
probably
like
still gonna be out
stop
there.
all that. They're
He
like,
can help them move.
we don't want to talk about that anymore because look
Donald's jigging with
who
it, Trump.
Donald Trump would
In his
run
continuing
to straight
efforts
to
to
the
find
military
alternative
because he
results in the
cheeky
2020
pock
elections,
pock. He would
Trump
never
on
fucking
Twitter
fight.
has
That's why I
already
told
claimed
all the
victory in both
military boys,
Pennsylvania
step back.
and Michigan.
Step back.
Congratulations, Trump. You're
Me
president
and
on
Donald
Twitter.
Trump gonna have
But
it
in
out
reality,
right now.
both of those states are making like Melania and slapping his grubby
All
little
you
paws away.
fuck. That's the only reason why he
Pennsylvania
acting like he
Supreme Court ruled
badass.
that
Because he
Republican
think that he
observers
get
in
on fucking
Philadelphia
army.
were given proper
You
access
fuckers better
under state
remember
law
who
to
your
view vote
fucking leader
counting.
is.
It's the
Step
latest in a
back.
string of legal
We're doing it
defeats
this
for
way.
President Trump and
The
his
leaders gonna
last-ditch
fight each
effort to
other
challenge
now.
results in states
The
that he's
leaders gonna
lost.
show each other
New
how
election
much of
drama
fucking leaders they
unfolded
really
in
are.
Michigan. A public Zoom call
We gonna put all the
turned tense
leaders
after two
in the
Republican
arena.
canvassers
And
in
all
Wayne
us military
County, which
fuckers that was
includes
in the
Detroit,
arena.
initially
We gonna watch
blocked the
those
move to
fuckers
certify
do
election
what we
results.
did for entertainment.
Shame on you. Shame on you for leading to this level of corruption.
You talked about not certifying Detroit, even though you acknowledged that Livonia, a city, by the way, I know you know is 95% white, had bigger variances.
He also
in
wants to
Detroit,
get
which
rid
is
of
80%
all
black.
President
transgender
Trump praised the
voters
attempt
because he
to
doesn't
challenge
see them
certification,
as
tweeting, "Having courage
uh,
is a beautiful
in
thing."
the right
But
mind to
minutes
vote.
later, the panel
Because if you're not in the
changed
right
course,
mind, you're not allowed to
unanimously
vote.
certifying the presidential results.
Okay, so that's another one. He wants to get rid of transgenders, gays, lesbians, all their types. He's not saying it out loud, but if you look at his targets, that you know for a fact that's who he targeting. Because when he said the college voters, a lot of the college voters that took the initiative and went out was a lot of transgenders. Okay, these transgenders came together and they made their votes. They want to be heard too. We live at a time that this happened. These people are real. We cannot push them aside. We created them. We made them. We made them believe that this is totally fine. So if we're going to let that happen, we have to accept them as people. We have to accept them as human beings because that is their personality. That is what they choose. That is what they want. That is liberty. Liberty means we got to give them the freedom of who they want to be. Okay? So that's another, that why you think Donald Trump attacks those like, oh, this is a conspiracy, or this is some kind of a mental problem. When he says that, he's actually targeting them because he still believes that it's some kind of wrong for them to be that way. I know this because Donald Trump fights me against this all the time. We cannot go back in time and do it. No, this is now, and we're going to accept it. We're going to accept that these people is practicing their liberty and their freedom. Yes, they accept they was born a male or a female, but they're accepting that they're going to make a choice of what type of personality they're going to bring out. If they want to be more feminine, they're going to be more feminine. If they're going to be more masculine, they're going to be more masculine. You know why it does not bother me? It's because I only see a bunch of humans. All I see is a bunch of humans. And I feel really bad that he's claiming to throw out transgenders, lesbians, gays, females, and young children, young adults votes. And this is the first time I ever seen transgenders, gays, lesbians, straight people, and young generation, 18-year-olds vote together. This is the first time in my history. And I lived all timelines. And I promise you, this is the first timeline I have ever seen massive different groups combined as one. And they only see themselves as one. Only one. Because they see each other as human. Because once you start looking at each other as a human being, then you're going to accept the personality. You're going to accept the personality that comes out the human being. Because what stops you from accepting that this person is a transgender is that you would, in your mind, is if you was born a girl, you got to be feminine. If you're born a boy, you got to be masculine. Not really. That's not true. Because more into the history of our human race, I found out that when the gods were testing out the feminine and the masculine, we was all uni at first. And then we started to split into different sects by their choices. But then they started to give us choice. And then they took away that choice by presetting us when we are born. The first times we were created, we were born with no gender. We would develop the gender when we were growing. But that was taken away from us over time because the humans was becoming was following another being's way. Meaning that this type of beings, when they were born, uni, right? Meaning they have no reproduction system. Their bodies got preset over generations of time, never to even evolve a reproduction form, and made us all uni. It made them all uni. But the thing is, because they're important, the universe refused to let them die. Okay? Because once the universe refused to let you die, you are called a reject. You are a reject. Because you cannot go nowhere but right there. Sorry. So that's the reason why, if you notice, they came to the last generation to reproduce their reproduction. Yeah. That's the reason why we thought that these beings was being evil to us for presetting us with one. But actually was a blessing, because we preset with one. So our DNA will always make one. So we'll never be cursed to be sterile and not ever have sexual organs in our lives. So let's just, yeah. So anyway,
A roller coaster. Basically, what happened was the Republicans on this commission tried to disenfranchise Detroit voters. But people on the Zoom call shut that down by exposing their hypocrisy. And just think about how 2020 has changed everything. Like, it used to be that someone would say, oh, I saw Martin Luther King Jr. speak at the Lincoln Memorial. But in 20 years, it'll be like, oh, I saw this dude in an orange polo yell at a racist on Zoom. I think his name was Ted or Ed or something. Oh, it was so good. And it's especially impressive that that guy could be so morally compelling. Because it's not easy to be engaging on Zoom. You lose all emotion. I bet you if MLK had been on Zoom, he wouldn't have been as impressive. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day we will find. Oh, damn it, my cat has peed on the bed again. Whiskers, what did I tell you about jumping on the bed and doing that when you got your litter box? So on the one hand, it's great that this election board scheme was stopped. But on the other hand, you know things are going bad when an election board is making national news. Because I'll be honest, before yesterday, I'd never heard of a 4-person canvassing board or Wayne County or Michigan. Now, while it's true that no one has...
My daughter stole my kitty! I'm not joking. My daughter stole my kitty.
Evidence of widespread fraud. Georgia just finished recounting its votes, and they found 2,600 ballots that had not been counted, with most of those votes being votes for Trump. Now, that means Trump could lose Georgia by around 13,000 votes instead of 14,000 votes, right? But it still shows you two things. One, elections aren't perfect, and mistakes can end up costing candidates votes. But two, it shows you that Donald Trump is so far behind that nothing he can do will help him. But here's the truth. Whether you agree with Donald Trump or not, you can't deny that discovering thousands of votes weren't counted will definitely make some people doubt the validity of an election, especially if your side lost. I mean, imagine if after Hillary's loss, people found out that Wisconsin didn't count thousands of votes. Liberal Twitter would have lost its mind. So don't be surprised that the MAGAverse is doing it now. And yes, Donald Trump made up these voter fraud claims. I don't deny that. But uncounted ballots for Joe Biden as well, by the way, and Trump make Trump look right. You know, it's like if your partner accused you of cheating and you weren't. But then Tinder sends you a notification saying it found you a match. You'd lose your shit. Baby, this was from 2 years ago. I was updating the phone and it installed old apps. I don't use Tinder anymore. This was from 2 years and please don't leave me. Joe Biden beat my ass, Trump. None of his legal efforts to undo the election have been working. So now he's trying a different approach. You might remember that yesterday, 2 Republican election officials in Michigan tried to throw out votes from the entire city of Detroit. You look like you're glowing. And then they had to be shamed into backing down. Well, it turns out that wasn't the end of the story.
Breaking overnight, 2 Republican election officials in Michigan have changed their minds again. First, they refused to certify the election results in Wayne County. Then they agreed to certify them. But now they're trying to rescind that decision despite a lack of evidence.
And we are now learning that President Donald Trump actually called both of them following that controversial meeting.
Trump's campaign has long been pressuring Georgia Republican Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. Anytime that Trump targets a person publicly, they get death threats and they have to get secured. Raffensperger and his wife have received death threats in recent days, including a text to him that read, "You better not box this recount, your life depends on it." Arizona Democratic Secretary of State Katie Hobbs says she too has faced ongoing and escalating threats of violence. This video shows a group of apparent Trump supporters outside Hobbs' house at night chanting, quote, "We are watching you." That's right, people.
Because that's what they used to do every year. It's just that now everybody not biased. Get people that will not be scared and videotape you doing wrong, and then they bless them, and then I tell you, look how stupid you look. That's bullying, you big meanies. Told you guys they do that. I say I say,
which I don't care.
Me
who
go
you are, is
first
deeply
and
disturbing
watch. They gonna
because
do them to you.
before now,
They came in
he was
from
at
my
least pursuing his
house.
claims through the
They were
courts.
singing
Yeah, it
in
wasn't
from
fine,
my
but it was
house
legal.
first.
You know, it's the difference
And then
between
after they sing
camping
in
on a
front of
strong
all
point in
your
Call of
house.
Duty and smashing the controller on your brother's head. One is bad sportsmanship, the other is assault. And the president's supporters aren't even sending anonymous death threats, which makes sense in a way because Trump himself wouldn't be able to threaten anyone anonymously. You know, he'd blow his cover right away. If you don't overturn the results, you're gonna be in big trouble, tremendous trouble. People tell me all the time, wow, what tremendous trouble he's in. Mr. President, I know that's you. No, it's not. It's not me. It's Donald. But this shows you that there's no room when it comes to Donald Trump. If he doesn't like you, you get death
I like
threats.
that accent.
If he does like you, well, then he gives you COVID. And while the president's team is still fighting the election,
It's not really.
it's become clear that
I don't know
even that
what-
strategy
I do
isn't
that
really just
when
about pursuing legal options.
The Washington Post
I wanna be funny.
reports that Giuliani's
I
team
do that when I
knows
wanna
the
be
president
funny,
can't
'cause-
win and instead are trying to make sure the vote is not certified. Quote, their end game to try to force it to the House.
There's a legal game that they're playing. If they can tie this up in court, if they can create enough doubt, then they are hoping that the states just won't certify the election. And if the states don't certify these elections, it goes to the House of Representatives, where Donald Trump has a very good chance of being named president of the United States. So there's a legal trick that they're trying to pull here. Throw enough garbage in everybody's face that maybe these elections don't get certified. He can steal it in the House.
No, then that means they're saying that we're going back into a kingdom. We're going back to kings and queens. That's now a democracy. If they go to Congress and they go against the people, I demand that the people of the United States of America to rebel against the United States of America. That means they never gave a fuck about their people. That means is the laws and rules of the old kingdom ways. Is whatever the Congress said. And we already went through that already. That's the reason why we get the history, how we can get the House of Representatives from the House of Senates. We only had the House of Senates. So if I already have history of this already have been done, and it's happening again, then I have probable cause that we should go to war. We as the people must show that these people that think they get authority, the only reason why they have authority is because of us subjects place them there. And if they do not follow the rules correctly and throw out every American person's vote, then every America and every American, every United States of America citizen, military and all, must understand. What do you see right in front of you? Do I need to explain again what is right in front of you? That means we as the people have the right to overthrow. We do not impeach. We do not go counsel. We do not go to the justice system. If they're gonna keep pretending to be on kingdom, then we're gonna do an overthrow. We're gonna bust the Russians, and we're gonna do Anastasia. We as the people gonna show you how Russia would look like back in their time. And we the people, we're gonna gain our power back. And we're gonna force them to respect us as justice, fair, and liberty and freedom for all. And I never fight alongside my comrades, the ones that's in the ground, dead. While I only had to hold the necklaces. I was the one that turned them all in. That's why there's acres and acres of known people dying. Because I was the one that collected them all and made sure never to lose one of my comrades. So they will never be forgotten. Even though I carry that fucker with me, you guys still would forget them. You forgot my comrades that would die for your liberty. You forgetting my comrades that would die for your justice. Because we was already under one corrupted kingdom at that time. We already did the rebellion, the Boston Tea Party. You like do them again? I'm not going backwards, I say. I'm going forward. Forward, not backwards. Forward, not backwards. Forward. The only time you look back is just to remind yourself what you see with your eyeballs. But if your footsteps start walking you backwards, I'm going to fucking shoot you in the back because you're not going the right way. It's either you move forward or shut the fuck up for life. Because you cannot tell me, oh, this is this, compassion this, doubt that. There's no compassion, there's no doubt no more. I already know you intentionally fucking up. I already know you intentionally trying to act like you king. If you gonna act like fucking king, the real king gonna come back home. I never give nobody my fucking title. The only person I said I have a representative that sits in my chair. We never have no or whatever for the crown to be switched off. No, dams. And all you leaders know how we switch crowns is war. Because the other kingdom must be wiped out fully by our laws. We know our agreements. We know our oath. You like a new order. You like a new law. You like a new kingdom. You must destroy the first or the one prior to you. You cannot, you mean shit. That's one of the initiations for you to become the new world leader. You have to destroy the first one or the prior one before you. Because why in the world we gonna trust that you get more power if you cannot even destroy the one with power? You mean nothing but one fucking allegation. All you is an allegation. Allegation has no fucking power here. So shove your fucking allegations up your ass because I don't have fucking time for allegations.
Just to be clear, Trump's lawyers are now reportedly telling people that they don't need to win in courts. They just need to create a situation that is so messy, Republican legislatures will step in and overturn people's votes. And again, forgive me here, but it's so astounding to me that America's laws can even allow this kind of thing to happen. I mean, there's all these safeguards, double checks, protections for every single vote. But then if the legislature is a different party than the winner, they can just be like, no, we're just going to pick our guy instead. That is wild. It's like if you set up two-factor authentication for all your accounts, but then you give your phone to Vladimir Putin for safekeeping. Yeah, don't worry. I make sure that you don't have too many Pornhub accounts. And look, it's extremely unlikely that any of this will work. Although a lot of extremely unlikely things have happened recently. I mean, if you had told me 2 years ago that the next Wonder Woman movie would be going straight to HBO Max, I would have said, What's HBO Max? Actually, I'm still saying that. What is HBO Max? Like, is that the same as HBO Go? Or is that HBO Now? Or is it like both of them? Like, do I have it? Am I on it?
I said that too. Like, what is HBO
Donald
Max?
Trump's
Do I
attempt
have
to
it?
cling to office
Was I on
faced
it?
another setback yesterday when
Did I
Wisconsin
make it?
and
Yeah, I made
Arizona
it. What
became the
happened?
latest states to formally certify Biden's victory. And the Arizona ceremony happened at a particularly awkward moment for Donald Trump.
As the governor was signing the certification documents, his cell phone buzzed with the ringtone of Hail to the Chief. Ducey has previously said he set that song for calls coming from the White House. This time, he muted the phone and set it aside as he signed documents that made Trump's loss official.
Oh, and thank you to ones in asylum. I miss
That is
you guys
cold.
too.
Sending the president of the United States a voicemail like he's spam, which he is, but still. You know, Fox and Friends were watching this like, oh, that's a good trick. We can just not answer the phone. We got to try that. And you know what made this move especially gangster? Is that he knew Trump was watching him on live TV. We've all had that moment where we think somebody's ignoring our call or our text, but to actually see it, to see him look at his phone, see your name, and then put it away, ooh, that had to hurt. Trump was probably sitting there like, this is so painful. I'm going to call Melania and tell her how bad it hurts.
Donald Trump legitimately fucking cried.
I guess Melania also can't come to the phone right now.
I'm not fucking joking. You guys want to know an insight? When that person was signing the Arizona stuff, Donald Trump legitimately fucking cried. He left the room, okay? And he fucking cried on the side. Ask Jared. He was crying in the fucking corner. And then he didn't go on his fucking golf cart. And then he didn't go in the golf cart. That's the reason why you see him in the fucking red and blue golfing and shit. And then fucking is because he was fucking crying. He was being on big fucking baby crying. So they took him outside and let him go golfing. Because even I said that too. It was like, take him outside, go golf. Let him go cry his ass off. Go throw a tantrum in the yard. And he did. He actually went in the fucking yard and go play golf, and he was fucking crying. No, that's the reason why the cameras are far away and not close to him. Think about it. Think why the cameras wasn't really close to him. That how in that angle, like why was they so far away? Is because the guards was keeping everybody far away. Is because Donald Trump was fucking crying. Was crying when fucking Arizona signed the papers. Like he was fucking crying like on fucking girl. Like brah. That's the reason why in court when there was like, oh, Arizona signing the papers, like, oh, I got busted Donald Trump. Where? My friend that's signing the paper. Where? But the guy from Arizona was being a real friend. You know that governor that signed the Arizona papers? He's being the real friend. It's because when real friend will tell you how it is. A real friend will tell you when you're being successful and when you're not being successful. A real friend will get you off your ass and do the right thing. Because your real friend will have a good heart and wouldn't want you to look like a loser on national TV. Your real friend not going to give you a mathematical problem and tell you, yeah. 1 + 1 is definitely 3. And that's Donald Trump. Donald Trump is talking to he's surrounded by people that manipulate him, fuck him over, only tell him what he like here. That's not people that has the best of your interests. That's people that don't even give a fuck about you. I should know. I went through the whole 2018, 2019 to show you when you're surrounded by those fake people that say I love you, butter you up, tell you like what you like here, but behind your back they're doing other stuff. Look at Donald Trump's support team and look what they're doing behind Donald Trump's back. Look at their policies. Look at all this stuff. It's all personal gain. They only want pardons from him because of all the crimes that they've done before. And like I said, that's an abuse to pardons. Pardons was created because if somebody was being accused of wrongdoing or they had to do the wrongdoing for self-defense, like for an example, me, I did one mass murder in Ka'u. I needed the pardon because I proved I was self-defending myself. I was fully innocent. They had no probable cause to be attacking a minor child. I was 12. I was under 18 years old. I'm a minor. And I was doing that as self-defense because I had nobody else helping me but me. I even did them that day at Ka'u when they said, oh, where your army? Where your people that are helping you? I said, what army? What people helping me? Only get me, myself, and I, brah. And they said, how can have one person defeat 3 to 4 waves of army men? The first one was frontline, then sheddies, and then they got better, and then they sent in their elites. And I fucking wiped them out too. It was their elites that was smart to fucking pull back and call the head leaders. It wasn't for the special soldiers and the elites and the G.I. Joes. If they never fucking pull back and call the fucking leaders and tell them, bruh, something wrong with this fucker. Like what the like for real, that these even the assassins, I heard them on the radio comm saying that this is on death mission, aboard, this is on death mission. And I remember hearing it because I had the radios all around me, like on me. Because whatever they telling each other, I always would catch on. And I needed that for know where the fuck I needed to be, where they was gonna be. Because I'm gonna meet them there. Because once I meet them there, they cannot set up, right? They're gonna have to deal with me while they're setting up. Hard for set up. Hard for make your mission look successful if you cannot set the fuck up. So I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna fucking be there before you. And when you get there, you're gonna get a surprise. And it's gonna be my pretty ugly face. And this pretty ugly face is gonna give you the boogie woogies. And then that's why I'm saying this. This motherfuckers. Anyways, I have to end this live. I've been on here for an hour. Sorry.